All right, coming into the stream now, the Philly special. Oh, today's
What's up?
awful. Yeah, we've had Josh Davis from the Philly special. We've had Barry, who just slurped on the Eagles the entire time that he was here. Now I gotta deal with another Philly honk. Josh, how you
how I
doing?
feel, man.
Appreciate you guys having me. I'm doing okay. Was hopeful at the beginning of the season, as everybody knows, because the hype train was crazy in Philly, but would have liked a different outcome so far. But here we are. But
yeah, you got screwed a little bit. You came in hard. You got out to 10-1. So I mean, Tree would understand that. You had an 11-0 start in 2020. And then the wheels came off at the end. Who do you blame the most for the defense being that bad, especially at the end? Like, who do you cast that?
Gosh, that's a good question. I mean, that's what we're all trying to figure out. It's really, to me, a combination of coaching. Like, you lacked some with the players and personnel, so the blame can go everywhere, and that's maybe with every single issue. But like Howie Roseman didn't make a couple great moves. We know that as great as much as we all and myself will praise Howie, there's times where whenever he makes mistakes, you got to hold him to the fire. And that was the case for free agency. I mean, the reports were that TJ Edwards wanted to be in Chicago and he leaves, great linebacker for us last season, and comes out now that Howie Roseman never even offered him. He wanted to stay in Philly. You kind of could have had him for $6.5 million. It's like, again, hindsight's 2020, but you take a look at our linebackers this year and what teams could do on the field. It's basically like, hey, you got a tight end, you got a good slot guy, go over the middle because our linebackers aren't going to be there. So,
well, when you have washed up Zach Cunningham and Shaq Leonard, it's Shaq Leonard's a great player, but he wasn't the same.
Yeah, you were getting the corpse of Shaq Leonard. Why was the tackling so? Are they just bad tacklers? The tackling was awful. Like, it was hilarious for me. I was loving every second of it. But like Bradbury, did he just forget how to play football? Yeah. What's going on,
bro? The amount of nicknames Bradbury has at this point is insane. It's like every single stream that we would do, it'd be a new nickname. It's Burntberry, Badberry, Trashberry. Like, you come up with just about everything. But I don't know. Like, I was hopeful for the guy because he was all-pro last season. I mean, to go from an all-pro to shouldn't have even been playing. Like, we were lobbying for Keely Ringo to come in at that point, like in the playoff game. I don't know why Bradbury needs to be out there, but it's like, hey, I think for all of us that have played sports to a certain level, there's a psychological aspect, and you could just tell, like, Bradbury, there was no confidence. Like, he's like, man, that's it. There's no way that I can be out there, I guess, in the interviews. You see it just lacking it. So I don't know. It was infuriating, to say the least. The tackling, there's questions of, like, did the players quit on the coaching? Like, I can't really buy that, because you got a guy like Kelsey, who's probably his last year. Fletcher Cox doesn't sound like he's coming back. Sounds like he's retiring. BG, he wants to come back for a farewell tour. But again, it's like, you got vets there. I can't imagine the guys would quit. But at the same time, I mean, the eye test says something changed, because we were not great at tackling. But you're right. The last 6 to 7 weeks was what happened. It was terrible.
Do you think the tush push is dead now that Kelsey's retiring? Like, he was the guy that was just willing to get dirty down underneath there. Is there another Jason Kelsey? Because, like, everyone was like, oh, it's an illegal play. I was like, no, not everybody has Jason Kelsey, who's willing to just basically take it from the other team.
You have one of the best interior lines in football. You saw a bunch of other teams try that tush push, including your Giants, and it failed miserably because you don't have a quarterback that can squat 600. You don't have an interior offensive line. It's a pure rugby play.
Like, but did you think that Kelsey being gone is like, it's done? Like,
I hope not. I hope not. He's gonna try to, as best he can, right? Just to share the tips with, most likely to be Cam Jurgens, would be my thought. And Kelsey basically handpicked Cam Jurgens in the previous draft, or and so saying, like, hey, that's gonna be my replacement. But again, there's a difference between the original and a counterfeit. Like, I hope that Cam Jurgens can rise to the occasion there and be that guy. But that Jeff Stoutland, great, incredible O-line coach, everybody knows. So I think technique there's going to be on that side. But you're right. I mean, to have the wrecking ball himself, Jason Kelsey, I don't know. I'm curious to see, because it's like 92, 93% effective. Like, if it's still at 89, 90%, great. But if we drop off to, a 70, then all of a sudden we're going, okay, well, that's obviously given.
Yeah, then you become league average. I actually said this a lot during the year. I was like, someone is going to figure out the tush push. Like, you get enough film. It's the NFL. You will figure out a weakness. Human beings always have a weakness. It's not there's nothing that's unstoppable in the NFL, like legit. And that's what happened in that playoff game. Like, Tampa studied their film. They were like, all right, we're going to put Vita Vea in the middle, and we're just going to go mano a mano, and they ended up stopping it. But that was not the difference in the game. It was it was very much ugly in other areas. So as sad as you look, I'm not upset for you.
I'm going to say,
right.
My question is AJ Brown. The rumors of that he might be on the outs. There are a lot of discontenting issues, questions about that. Your offseason for the Eagles, what's your dream? And do you see AJ Brown coming back in any circumstance?
Yes, I will be shocked if AJ Brown goes anywhere. I completely see him returning. Jalen Hurts is the godfather of his baby. I mean, again, it's like, well, does that mean anything? But still, they're best friends. Like, they get along and everything there.
Right.
I can't see for one season, as frustrating as it was, the Philly media does this to a lot of players. And, hey, AJ Brown is emotional. He had frustrations on the sideline. It comes with the territory. He deletes his social media, gets off all of that, removes Eagles content from Instagram, so everyone freaks out. It's like, hey, you know what? It can be archived. He could bring it back. I don't know what the story is there. Hey, maybe it was an overreaction. But to me, it's like, as close as him and Jalen Hurts are, I think it's like, hey, bro, look at last season, right? Like, look at how fun that was, exciting it was. You take some time to reflect. I think he's coming back. The Eagles reports were, and again, I guess if you're an organization, you're not going to say we're trading him, but still, like, the report is that they are unequivocally keeping AJ Brown. He's not on the table. They're not looking to trade him. So I think that he will. The question to me becomes really not as much of that. You ask, what am I hoping for over the offseason? It's really that Philly would draft or prioritize a linebacker and or safety, but mainly linebacker, because Howie Roseman just does not prefer to do that. And so I mentioned TJ Edwards a second ago. Maybe in the draft, it would be awesome if we could do that, or even in free agency, because there's a lot of good free agents out there for linebacker. And, you got to shore it up because it was terrible this past season.
I've got to ask you. So, me as a Giants fan, obviously the team that we hate the most is like Eagles #1, then Cowboys, and then Commanders. We just kind of all laugh at. Who do you hate the most as an Eagle fan? Whether it's a division rival, or is it just another team?
So it would be Dallas. That's I guess most Eagles fans would say that, but I'm born and raised in Dallas, believe it or not. So
wow,
an extra emphasis. It's fun when we're winning, but it was. I thought we were going to get to gloat a little bit after the Cowboys-Packers game, and then the very next day it was very short-lived.
Yeah. The next evening, it was bliss for me. I was like, this is great.
you loved it,
fan. Yeah, watching both teams crash and burn. I was like, this is amazing. This is great. So how did you end up as an Eagles fan if you're born and raised in Dallas?
Yeah, it's a crazy story. I know. Doesn't happen for most people, but so my family are Cowboys fans, and growing up, always watched just the Cowboys channels. We just had local channels. That's it. So if we were going to watch football, it'd be the nationally televised games or all the Cowboys ones. And so I was born in '92, and it was just not enough to be able to catch the run of the Cowboys. And so my dad's telling me, once I start getting into it, he's like telling me, hey, the Cowboys are this great team, and everything like that. It's like, I never remember that. Like, I always remember watching the Eagles destroy the Cowboys, and they had the run of Andy Reid, Brian Dawkins, Trotter, AFC championship. So was there a bandwagon? Absolutely. But I know vividly the pickle juice game. I think it was like 2000. I think 2001.
Yeah. They were all cramping up. And
But
the Eagles, you were like, that's a smart team.
They destroyed them. And so I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm going to be an Eagles fan. So now, obviously after the many, many years, you stick with them. They're your team. So has it led to some interesting Thanksgivings and Christmases together? Sure. But, hey, it's all in good fun.
How hard did you laugh when the Cowboys got humiliated by the Packers?
Oh, I left really. It made it even better. So my wife is from Wisconsin. She's a Packers fan. So like already cheering for the Packers, and it's like the watch party and everything. But it was so great. Like I say, I wanted to gloat for a long time, and it only was a short lived, like less than 24 hours since we got beat by the Bucs. But it was comical to me, especially whenever Dak threw that pick to make it like 27-0. I'm like, yes,
the pick six.
The same Dak Prescott. They are who we thought they were.
He eventually threw his 10 interceptions, just had to wait till the playoffs.
That's true. That is a good point. Yes.
Yes.
Not mention that.
I'm going to need your Super Bowl prediction. It's time to call it.
Okay.
It's time to call it.
I like the under on this. It's like 47.5.
Yeah. It's juicy.
I'm going to say, man, I don't want to. I'm going to say Niners 24-21. I think the under, and I think the Niners cover. I feel like people are going to see Mahomes, see the Super Bowl, take the plus points. I don't know. Doubting.
There's going to be a lot. There's a lot of action, apparently. I mean, I think the Niners were at minus 2.5, and it's already swung to -2.
Okay.
Like they're moving. There's money going. But, I don't know. They say follow the money, but like bettors are stupid too. Like remember, like some idiot like Floyd Mayweather puts like 8 million, and that will actually shape the entire line.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're just like, what the fuck, dude? Like
I tend to be more contrarian. Sometimes, that comes back to bite you. But if we could do opposite. So yeah, I'm gonna go 24-21 Niners.
Before we let you leave, I gotta take a look at your setup. Let's bring him solo here. Like this is a pimp setup right here.
Yeah.
Is this like in your spare bedroom or something? Like I'm loving what you've done back there.
No, I like the light backsplash. The Eagles logo, is that like actual? Is that built in, or is that like a neon?
That is just a neon light that I put up there. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah. I found it randomly online. Like I knew the setup that I wanted. I just didn't see it anywhere. So I kind of makeshift, got a couple LED lights, and I think it's wainscoting, I believe is what you call the wall. The picture of that. So did the DIY on that, and then found the neon light. And I was like, hey, this would be great. So appreciate it. But it's in a I guess I previously worked from home a little bit, like during COVID. So it was a study initially, and then once didn't have the need for it as much, I was like, all right, hey, we could use it for a studio of sorts. So that's what we turned it into.
I miss my old studio. Like I had the same setup. Like it was in one of those rooms that had an angled ceiling, and the acoustics were just perfect. Like it was amazing. Like, and then stay married. That's all I gotta say. Don't end up selling all your shit because it sucks. But hey, Josh, it was great having you on board. Nice to actually officially meet you. And dude, enjoy Sunday. I mean, it's our party,
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Where can everyone find you? Of course.
Yeah. The Philly Special Show on YouTube. Also on X, quite a bit at the PHI Special.
X.
So
it's so funny when people call it X instead of tweeting, you just X it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, does anyone actually ever call it X?
Nobody calls it X.
I still call it Twitter.
I do too, but I always get the one random comment on a video or whatever when I say, on Twitter, and someone's like, it's called X now, you idiot. It's like,
but you can't win on the internet. It's impossible to win on the internet.
It is.
Like
it's the same principle as like say Heinz Field. Like it's nobody's calling it Acrisure Stadium. It's Heinz Field.
Yes, it is Heinz Field. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, and we'll be in touch, man.
Appreciate you guys. Go Birds.
Peace, man. Good meeting you.
See ya.